I've got a powder room with an old vanity in there and I'd like to pull it out. I'm wondering if it's possible to do that myself, or do I need to call in the real professionals?
Well, Dan, I know that this is the segment where you ask me the questions, but I guess I have to ask you a question. How handy are you? Actually, demolition and taking stuff out is pretty easy. When it comes to a pedestal sink, you just got to turn the water supplies off, the hot and the cold, disconnect the drain assembly that's behind the actual pedestal itself, loosen 2 bolts off of the bowl, and pull it all away. That's pretty easy, and hopefully no water's dripping all over the floor. But then from there, you have to decide what you want to put back in its place. And that may mean you got to ask me another question on a later show.
Hey Lou, this is John from Southern California, from Los Angeles, and I just bought a new house in the Valley. It was built back in the 40s, and I want to make some changes on the house, and the one change is the kitchen. The kitchen's very small, so I'm trying to think of a way to tear out the cabinets and also the floor and also the countertop without spending a fortune on an architect. So what's the way that I can do that by myself and at the same time keep it up to code?
Well, you know, John, if you're remodeling your kitchen and you're staying within the confines of the existing space, an architect might not be your best choice. You could go to a kitchen designer to help you with this. And you know, in many cases, if you're going to be buying new kitchen cabinets, they offer the design services for free. So these folks are pretty well versed in what's available, can work within your budget confines, and they can also give you advice on what is up to code and what is not. So you kind of get the best of both worlds. A kitchen you're going to love and making sure that it's safe and sound for everyone.
Hi Lou, my name is Marjorie. I'm from White Plains, New York. We have a 1950s house and we'd like to replace the floor in the living room. The floor has radiant heat in it right now. It's on a slab. And so we'd like to put a stone or terrazzo floor in the place of the linoleum. But we want to make sure that the radiant heat is preserved and that we don't have to raise up the floor too high. Do you have any suggestions?
Well, when it comes to design options, there are plenty. Now, you could go with a stone tile, or you could find a ceramic that gives you that terrazzo or stone look. Many times the ceramics will save you a lot of money, and once they're put in place, you won't know the difference. Now, the key is this. Back in the 50s, they made homes pretty solid, and your radiant heat system is copper piping, almost guaranteed. If it's in good shape now, just be careful during the demolition when you remove the old tile by scraping sort of on an even plane and not trying to dig down into the concrete. Set your new tile or stone with a thin set mortar and then grout it. That will make that whole system become part of the radiant system. It'll warm up and keep that floor nice and cozy.